Welcome into Bob Warren Field here in Terre Haute, Indiana. A pair of 2-4 teams set to have their second meeting. The Terre Haute Rex hosting the Decatur Bean Ballers. Daniel Herzog, Truman, Griessel with you on the official YouTube channel of the Bean Ballers. And the Bean Ballers bats had a loud first 4 games, plating at least 5 runs in all 4, including 24 back in that first meeting with the Rex on Wednesday. But since then, just 8 runs in the last 18 innings for the Decatur's bats.
Yeah, it was a slow week for the Bean Ballers, their first time through the week, but they pitched well, and then the hitting really started to come along, and Sunday you ran into a better team in the Lafayette Aviators, but they're looking to get back out here today against the Rex. Second time you're seeing them. I don't think you're going to hang 24 runs up on them again. Rex got some guys back. They've got one of their better pitchers going on the mound today, but it should be a good game here between these two teams as we begin week 2. And with the way the Danville Dans are playing, this first half race might be locked up in this next short week. So if you're the Bean Ballers, you want to snap this 2-game skid and get on the winning streak, get in the winning ways, and just get back to playing Bean Baller baseball.
Yep, Decatur set for its second week ever in Prospect League action. They face the right-hander on the mound for the Rex. That's Gene Quezada, a right-hander. Meanwhile, Decatur, last week in that matchup against Terre Haute, probably got a little lucky with the matchup they were facing. Terre Haute only had 8 healthy position players for that one, so they had to have Juju Thompson, the right-hander, with the DH for that game, and he ended up coming in later, pitching a little bit. We even saw the reigning league player of the year, Wally Diaz, who gets the start again at first base for Terre Haute. He came on the mound, so that wasn't quite a serious, more of a wash for the Terre Haute Rex. They're certainly looking to bounce back from that one against Decatur, and they face a welcome opponent, someone they're familiar with, Gabe Arroyo. They spent last season as a manager, an assistant for Terre Haute, and was a player for Terre Haute back in 2024. But a big lineup out there for Arroyo. He got the leadoff hitter in center field, Matthew Novominski, set to step up to the plate to face the right-hander Quezada. Again, almost underway here at Bob Warren Field, a pair of 2-4 teams for Decatur looking to snap a 2-game skid as we start the second week of Prospect League action. Quezada from the windup, kick and deal. That one in there for a strike to Novominski, and we're underway.
Novominski got Sunday off against the Lafayette Aviators. Well, it seems to be his day off of these weeks, but expect him to be in the lineup 5 and maybe even some weeks late in the season, 6 days a week.
Breaking ball in there for strike 2, 0-2. Quickly behind in the count is Novominski. After him on deck is O'Neal Felice, the big bat in the lineup for the Bean Ballers. Is that one lined into the gap in right center? Novominski chugging hard. He's thinking 2. Instead, he'll settle for a single, but a leadoff single, and the leadoff man is aboard in Matthew Novominski.
Yeah, it was just a good piece of hitting from Novominski. A pitch a little too over the plate for Quezada for his liking, but Novominski, the left-hander, just put it right back up the middle. And now the Bean Ballers have their leadoff man on. And the first inning has been where they've struck the most. They've scored in 5 of the 6 first innings in week 1.
Yeah, the 0-2 pitch from Quezada catches plenty of the plate. And Novominski aboard, nobody out here. The first pitch to Felice, big cut, and foul tip into the glove of the catcher, Ren Harper. 0-1, now the count to Felice. Fresh off. Had a disappointing day in Lafayette, as did plenty of Bean Ballers, but up until then was hitting .667 entering Sunday. The 0-1 to Felice, upstairs, ball 1. Had a monster of a game last Saturday against the Danville Dans. A single, an RBI double, and 3 walks. Got pitched around plenty. In fact, all 3 walks were his first 3 plate appearances, as the 1-1 misses away, ball 2.
Quezada comes from Talladega College, where he had 5 appearances where he went longer than 4 innings. His best one came against Tougaloo out of Mississippi, went 6 innings, gave up 2 runs on 4 hits.
Quezada Takes a peek at Novominski, delivers the 2-1. Breaking ball, Felice in front of. Now 2-2, the count even. It's important that Quezada throws strikes. 17 walks given out by the Rex the last time these two teams faced off. Looking to cut down on that. The 2-2 fouled back into the screen. After Felice, it's the third baseman Jagger Snitko before catcher Jackson Miller hitting cleanup and Jagger's brother Jackson Snitko hitting fifth and playing left field, his first start out in left field this season after a pair of starts at first base. That one cracked foul and now to play off to the left side. Still 2-2 the count to Felice. Novominski hasn't shown signs of going yet. Pitch upstairs, count has gone full.
This is still a Bean Ballers team that you can't walk. Fourth in the league in on-base percentage. They still lead the league in walks. 56 team walks through the first 6 games. It's almost 10 per game that they are averaging.
The full count pitch to Felice. Ball low and away. That's ball 4, and Felice works a walk, and the first 2 runners are aboard. That'll bring up the third baseman, Jagger Snitko.
That was just a good at bat from Felice. Fouled off some couple good pitches. Quezada was definitely staying away from the big slugger, but these are the opportunities that it also felt like that for the Bean Ballers to have a 2-4 week go to a maybe even 4-2, 5-1 week. It's capitalizing when you're given free opportunities like this.
First pitch to Snitko, breaking ball upstairs, ball 1. Snitko playing third. He's gotten starts at second, short, and third so far this season. The 1-0 fouled off to the left, off the Rex dugout. 1-1 now the count. Quezada deals the 1-1. Check swing, no swing. Ball 2.
Definitely a nice pitch from Quezada, and he feels like he's gotten a little bit squeezed on the zone thus far through these first 3 hitters. I mean, he's delivered some good pitches. Definitely had Snitko thinking fastball right there, and he pulled out the slider. You got to stay confident. Sometimes when you get squeezed by a zone, you can let your emotions get the better of you, but you got to stay composed if you're Quezada.
Quezada checks back on Novominski, now deals to the plate. Upstairs, ball gets away off the glove of Harper, and the runners advance 90 feet each. Now Felice on second, Novominski 90 feet away, and nobody out still. Now 3-1 the count on Jagger Snitko.
These are the opportunities, again, I talked about them. I mean, the days that they were most prevalent in their losses was against Thrillville last Thursday. They had a lot of opportunities with runners in scoring position, couldn't score in some innings. And then Saturday against Danville, especially come the 10th inning, you had the winning run on third, couldn't get him in with nobody out. And especially punching first is what the Bean Ballers need to do here against the Rex.
The 3-1 upstairs, and Snitko is now aboard. Bases now loaded with nobody out. That'll bring up the cleanup hitter, Jackson Miller.
And he probably had the best day on Sunday in that 15-4 loss to the Aviators. He hit the ball hard several times, including a double off the wall. But he's a guy that's trying to work his way into that everyday starting lineup. He's getting the start at first today. We saw him catch on Sunday in the Bean Ballers' last game, but he feels like he can be a guy that can be inserted in the lineup, first base, catcher, designated hitter spot, and provide this offense with some juice, because there's a lot of pop from that bat.
Yeah, plenty of power from the bat of Jackson Miller. He was showing it off today in batting practice. Put a few out here at Bob Warren Field. The first pitch to him, thought about it, no swing, ball upstairs. A lot of balls here from Quezada, especially after losing Novominski on an 0-2 single. It seems that might have rattled him a little bit. Set for the 1-0. That one in there for a strike on the outside edge.
Yeah, he's just a little inconsistent. He was missing up in the zone, not finishing all the way over the top on his pitches.
Had a wild pitch that moved the runners up 90 feet. The 1-1 cut on and missed. Strike 2 to Miller. Looked a little out in front of that one.
First changeup he's thrown, and that'll be a nice pitch to throw to several of these lefties in this lineup for the Bean Ballers. That changeup away looks like the fastball. It's just a few miles per hour slower and kind of dives away from those left-handed hitters. Miller not able to stay back long enough.
Novominski, Jackson Miller, Jackson Snitko, the switch hitter on deck, all hitting from the left side against the righty Quesada as Miller fouls one into the screen. Still 1-2 the count on the Bean Ballers first baseman. Part of a three-man catcher rotation, Felice, Gage Reynolds, and Jackson Miller. Miller got the start behind the dish on Sunday as he lines one caught by Wally Felice at first, and he's going to double off Snitko. So with bases loaded, nobody out now. Runners on second and third and 2 away. Nobody in for the Bean Ballers here in the top of the first.
Yeah, and that's just really a tough one right there, Daniel, because, I mean, Miller absolutely smacks that one, but right at Wally Diaz. And Snitko, you're taught as a runner at first base, when your first baseman's off, you can get as far off as the first baseman is. And so there's just no chance for Jagger to get back, and that's just an unfortunate string of events. Now, no runs home and 2 outs.
First pitch to Jackson Snitko bounces, and Novominski's going to trot across for the first run of the game. So as the pendulum seemed to swing back to the Rex for a second, it'll go back to Decatur, and Decatur's on the board here in the first inning.
Well, and when you help out your opponent by hitting into a double play, Quesada helps out the Bean Ballers by throwing another wild pitch, and the breaking ball has been his pitch so far in this first inning that I've noticed that he just hasn't been able to locate. He's missed it, especially downstairs. That time Harper not able to block it.
So now Felice on third, 2 outs. The 1-0 to Jackson Snitko upstairs. Ball 2. Something we were talking about last week, Truman, how much of a sign a first pitch strike versus a first pitch ball could be for an at-bat. You've seen first pitch strikes from Quesada have been a lot more successful in the at-bat than a first pitch ball is. That one now in there for a strike, 2-1 the count to Snitko, but sometimes setting yourself up with a first pitch strike can decide the entire at-bat.
Well, I mean, it helps out a pitcher a lot because you're getting ahead, and now you're playing into the hands of what you want to play, not playing towards the hitter.
The 2-1 to Snitko fouled off to the left, 2-2 now the count. So after a leadoff single from Matthew Novominski, a pair of walks, and a double play, the Bean Ballers are on the board, 1-0. Looking to score more as that one in the dirt, blocked by Murphy, or rather Harper at his legs. Count goes full to Jackson Snitko. Quesada deals the full count pitch. Fouled off to the right. We'll do it again.
That breaking ball hung up for Quesada. He's going to be careful if he misses up there again. Snitko out in front. He's sitting fastball. Adjust the off speed. Still with 2 strikes. See if you can put something in the outfield.
Full count now to the 5-hitter Snitko. Brandon Abernathy on deck. The full count pitch. Popped up in the air, shallow left field, ranging over and making the catch is the left fielder Nate Millington. So the Bean Ballers get a run on a hit and a pair of walks. They leave Felice on third. We go to the bottom of the first with Decatur leading 1-0 here at Bob Warren Field. Manuel Toro is the right-hander on the mound for Decatur here, set to start the bottom of the first inning. Decatur put a run across after a leadoff single from Novominski and a pair of walks. Run scored on a wild pitch from righty Gene Quezada of Terre Haute, but set to start the game for Terre Haute. Ben Kearns, the center fielder, to lead off against Toro as he deals in outside for ball one. Toro, one appearance so far for Decatur, 3 innings pitched. That was last time out against Terre Haute, so a familiar lineup he'll face as the 1-0. That one's in there for a strike. 1-1 now the count to Ben Kearns. Kearns, a native of Terre Haute, spent last season at Lincoln Trail College. Hit .267 with 2 home runs during his sophomore season as Toro deals for ball 2.
Gave up 3 runs in those 3 innings against the Rex. Did strike out 5, just walked only 1. It was the 3rd inning that a hit by pitch and a walk led to a couple of runs, but if he can stay in the zone, his pitch count should be 50-60 pitches.
Kearns lines one. Tailing back is Brandon Abernathy, and that one's over his head. Kearns into second with a leadoff double. The sun might have played a factor in the way Abernathy fielded that one.
Well, that's one Abernathy's going to be frustrated with himself. His first step was in, and off the bat, I mean, if you're any young baseball players out there listening, always want to have your first step be back, and Abernathy's first step was going forwards, and he quickly had to try and scramble back, and that's just a misread that Abernathy would tell you he should have with his speed, and it's unfortunate now allows the leadoff extra base hit.
So now runner in scoring position, nobody out. That'll make way for the shortstop, Nomar Garcia. Hails from Santo Domingo, Dominican Republic, as he takes strike 1 on the inside corner. Spent last season at Indiana State.
Played right here at Bob Warren Field against the Snehomas Clean City. Didn't play against the Bean Ballers the first time these two met.
The 0-1 in there for strike 2. Garcia quickly behind 0-2. Now, for those listening at home, no, this is not Nomar Garcia Parra, the former outfielder for the Red Sox. This is Nomar Garcia. That one inside, ball 1. During his senior campaign with the Sycamores, he hit .226 over 159 at-bats. As Toro steps off, forcing Kearns to trot back to second base. Garcia, one of a few Sycamores on this team. Andrew Ortiz and Nate Millington, a graduated senior, will spend next year with ISU, is going down swinging as Garcia, and there's the first out here in the bottom of the first.
I like that pitch sequence right there from Toro on 1-2. He goes fastball, up the letters, gets Garcia to chase. That's a great pitch and a great response after the leadoff double, not allowing that runner to get to third base with less than 2 outs.
That'll make way for the third baseman, Carter Murphy, also a Terre Haute native. So he'll try to bring in a fellow Terre Haute native with Kearns on second. Swings through the first pitch from Toro. 0-1 now the count. Murphy did spend time at Indiana State. Spent last year, however, with South Florida. The 0-1 from Toro. Swing and a miss. Strike 2. Toro takes a peek back at Kearns. Now deals. The 0-2. Lined. Caught by the third baseman, Jagger Snitko, reaching down to make the catch and steal an extra base hit from Murphy. Now 2 away here in the bottom of the first.
Well, Daniel, there's a reason they call it the hot corner. You got to be ready down there. Murphy absolutely blistered that baseball, but Snitko able to snag it. And again, Manuel Toro gives up the leadoff double, but he's right back in the strike zone attacking these hitters and not being afraid to do it with the fastball.
That'll make way for Wally Diaz. Led off the game in Decatur with a triple. also pitched in that blowout loss for the Rex, takes ball 1 from Toro. The next pitch fouled back and out of play off to the right. 1-1 now the count to Diaz. Diaz, the reigning league player of the year in the Prospect League, also a native of Santo Domingo. Spent last season at Oklahoma Wesleyan, where he just absolutely raked. Hit .332, including 24 home runs. The 1-1 breaking ball away for Toro. 2-1 now the count to Diaz.
Other than anything, he hit 17 home runs last year in the Prospect League. As a team, Terre Haute has still yet to hit a long ball, and especially surprising coming from the big slugger in Diaz. No long balls as of yet.
The 2-1 to Diaz. That one just inside, ball 3.
He is one of the fan favorites, and I mean, he means a lot to Gabe Arroyo and the Bean Baller dugout. These two actually roomed together last summer when Arroyo was a coach for the Rex and Diaz obviously a player up here in Terre Haute.
So after attacking the first 3 hitters, Toro being very careful with Diaz and delivers ball 4 low. And so now 2 runners aboard with 2 outs here in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, it was missing low and inside to Diaz. I think they were trying to jam him to see if he would chase and roll over on something. But Diaz, a disciplined hitter. He'll take his walks. Drew 47 of them at Oklahoma Wesleyan.
So after Terre Haute native Santo Domingo, another Terre Haute native, Ren Harper, the catcher, steps up to the plate, takes ball 1 low. Harper was also a teammate of a few Bean Ballers last season at Olney Central College. Baron Odom and Caden Miller, both pitchers for Decatur. Cracks this one foul. Count now 1-1 on Harper. Harper got the start against the Bean Ballers, but was in left field, later moving to third base when Terre Haute was just moving guys around to get new arms on the bump. And he lines this one softly into left field, getting the wave as Kearns, the throw in from Snitko, is cut off by his brother, and it's an RBI single for Ren Harper. So it's after the Bean Ballers get 1 in the top of the first, a few hits and a walk for the Terre Haute Rex have this game tied at 1.
It was an okay pitch from Toro. I mean, 1-1 fastball up. Just a good job from Harper going the other way with that. I'm surprised Jackson Snitko out in left field playing very deep against the lefty Harper. No chance to throw out Kearns at the plate. Well, that's one of those that a fairly well-executed pitch from Toro, just a better swing from Ren Harper.
That'll make way for the right fielder Andrew Ortiz. The first pitch from Toro misses away. Ortiz is a native of Miramar, Florida, but feels right at home. Spent last season at Indiana State. So 2 runners on, 2 outs here. Toro deals foul tipped off the umpire's mask, and Felice is going to check on him. Seems to be okay. The count now 1-1 on Ortiz. Toro kick and deal. The 1-1 fouled off to the right. 2-1 now. Or 1-2 rather.
As you pitches, you got to execute if you are Manuel Toro. Just gave up an RBI single. Now you're 1 strike away from getting out of the first inning with no more damage done. See if he buries a breaking ball or just goes with the heat again.
Cut on and missed from Ortiz. That'll be out number 3, but not before the Rex put together a few hits, a walk, and bring across a run to tie this game at 1. We go to the second inning 1-1 here at Bob Warren Field between the Rex and the Decatur Bean Ballers. All knotted at 1 to start the second inning here at Bob Warren Field in Terre Haute, Indiana. The Bean Ballers have 6, 7, 8. Brandon Abernathy to lead off the inning, playing in right field today.
Batting for the Bean Ballers, you have number 16, Brandon Abernathy.
Abernathy went 1 for 4 with a pair of walks and 3 runs scored against the Rex last Wednesday. He'll lead off against Gene Quesada on for his second inning of work. Bean Ballers had 2 walks, a single, and a run scored back in the top of the first as Abernathy takes that one, brushes his shins. Ball 1. Quesada from the windup. The 1-0 to Abernathy. Grounded softly to second base. Bobbled with, but picked up by the second baseman, Joseph Gutierrez, who tosses to Wally Diaz for out number 1.
Stepping to the plate, we have number 27, Griessel Robertson.
Now Grayson Robertson, the designated hitter, up to the plate, has seen several starts in the DH spot, also started once at third base last week. The first pitch to him, fouled off. behind, now to play.
Robertson, I mean, 6'6", listed. He's a tall guy, and it's just effortless on his swing. I mean, the power he gets. Wind's blowing in today from right to left, but just easy power off the bat.
The next pitch to Robertson, fouled back into the screen again. 0-2 now the count to the Bean Ballers' designated hitter. Carter Rich, the shortstop, on deck. Robertson also had an appearance pitching last week against the Thrillville Thrillbillies down in Marion. As the 0-2 from Quezada, breaking ball fouled back into the screen again. 3 pitches, 3 foul balls from Robertson.
Yeah, Robertson getting aggressive early. Swinging early in the count. See if Quezada tries to bury something or raise the eye level on the 6'6" righty.
Robertson pops one, foul ground off to the right. Diaz running and makes the catch while banging into the wall. 2 away now here in the top of the second inning. A nice play from Wally Diaz.
Yeah, plenty of spacious foul ground, especially near the dugouts. I mean, actually, all the way down the line. It does not tail into the corner, so a lot of space for Diaz to work with. And up against the wall, knowing that wall is padded and knowing, I mean, Diaz has played here before, spent last summer here, but knowing the foul ground well, be able to make the nice play.
That'll make way for Carter Rich, is bouncing one by his catcher is Quezada. So 1-0 now the count to Rich. Native of Newton, Illinois, spent last season at Millikan University, where the Bean Ballers call home for the summer. Breaking ball in there for a strike to Rich. Sort of froze him with that one. Quezada from the windup deals to Rich. Lines this one. Grounded. Fielded by the shortstop, Nomar Garcia, who throws across the diamond for out number 3. So the Bean Ballers, after putting several runners on base in the first, go 1-2-3 in the top of the second. We go to the bottom, 1-1 here at Bob Warren Field. Back here, bottom 2 at Bob Warren Field. Terre Haute, the Rex, and the Decatur Bean Ballers tied at 1. Manuel Toro on for his second inning of work. Toro also started last week's meeting between the two teams. Got up to 59 pitches, so could possibly see a start with some length from him today.
We have Johan Ferreira.
And Johan Ferreira, the designated hitter, steps up to the plate. Ferreira, one of several natives of Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic, takes ball 1 away. Spent last season at St. Cloud State. The 1-0 to Ferreira. Cut on, foul off his foot. 1-1. Of course, in that outing last week, as Ferreira taking a little bit of time to get back in the batter's box after a painful foul ball. In that outing last week for Toro, by By the time he exited the game officially to start the fourth inning, Decatur already had a 16-3 lead. The 1-1 to Ferreira. Cut on and miss, strike two. Decatur was well on their way, well on its way to the first ever win for the organization. The 1-2 to Ferreira inside, almost hit him. 2-2 now the count.
Toro so far, I mean, really relying on that fastball through these first 7 hitters. Haven't seen many breaking balls, 1 or 2 in each at-bat, but he's really trying to get the fastball over and finish at-bats with the breaking ball.
The 2-2 to Ferreira, breaking ball, cut on and missed for strike 3. Ferreira thought it hit the dirt, but Felice came up with it cleanly. So another punch-out victim, the third of the day for Toro, is out number 1 here in the bottom of the first.
Case in point right there, 4 fastballs to start the at-bat, then slider down and away. Ferreira fooled. And it's the third punch-out for Manuel Toro.
Toro deals ball 1 just outside to Nate Millington, the left fielder today. Millington just graduated high school. He'll attend Indiana State. Also a Terre Haute native, one of 4 Terre Haute natives in this lineup.
Played baseball at Terre Haute North High School. He's got some of his teammates in the stands to see him make his first start in a Rex uniform.
Quickly ahead, 2-0 in the count. The deal from Toro, that one downstairs, so 3-0 now the count to Millington. Toro kick and deal, the 3-0. That one in there for a strike, 3-1 now the count. Millington, tall and lanky, listed at 6'3", 185. Throws righty, but bats from the left side. Grounds one up the middle, fielded by Rich at short. Throws and beats Millington by a step for out number 2.
Just a good jump from Carter Rich up the middle. It's a tough ball because he kind of got that in-between hop, but he fields it and keeps his momentum going towards first base. Throw on the run. Gets a nice out for out number 2. 2 quick outs now recorded by Toro.
So after falling behind 3-0, Toro fires in a strike and then gets the out on a ground ball to Rich at short. That'll make way for the 9-hitter Joseph Gutierrez. Toro working from the windup, deals. First pitch, Gutierrez shows bunt, offers at it, called strike nonetheless. So 0-1 the count to Gutierrez. Again, Toro punched out 5 in the 3 innings he pitched against Terre Haute last weekend. Already 3 through an inning and 2/3. That one downstairs, ball 1, gets by Felice, but nobody on, so no damage done.
That's just something that the Decatur pitching staff needed. They came in second to last in total strikeouts as a pitching staff, just 35 total through the first 6 games. Sometimes you need to have strikeout stuff.
That one lined over the head of Abernathy, who makes the running catch. A difficult play, glasses glistening, but that's out number 3. And after a run from each team in the first inning, both teams go 1, 2, 3 in the second. We go to the third, 1-1. The Rex and Bean Ballers are tied here at Bob Warren Field in Terre Haute.
Back here, top of the third at Bob Warren Field in an Eastern Conference Central Division matchup between the Decatur Bean Ballers and the Terre Haute Rex. Truman Griessel, Daniel Herzog here with you. It was an eventful first inning. Both teams put up a rub on the board, but then each team went 1, 2, 3 to begin the second. Keegan Farnes rounds out this Bean Baller order. Gets Decatur started here in their half of the third, still facing Gene Quezada. First pitch to Farnes, fastball in the air and a half, misses ball one. Farnes got the day off on Sunday against Lafayette. Swings at the second pitch, pops it up down the left field line. Millington way over into the bullpen, but it's out of play. Farnes also technically got Saturday night off against Danville. He came on as a pinch hitter and grounded out for the final out in that 5-4 thriller in 11 innings. 1-1 from Quezada. Strike at the knees, 1-2. Quezada into the wind. Breaking ball inside, 2-2. Farnes hitting .214 in just his fourth start of the summer. 3 hits in 14 at-bats, but he has scored 6 runs. So he's found ways to get on base and come around to score. 2-2. Rolled over towards second. Gutierrez on the run. Flips it over to Diaz at first, and Farnes is retired.
Softly hit on that one. Farnes almost legged it out, but Gutierrez charging the ball quickly enough. Wasn't exactly sprinting in on that one, but nonetheless is out number 1.
So the lineup turns over, and Matthew Novominski digs in with 1 out. He singled and came around to score back in the first. First pitch from Quezada. Fastball upstairs, 1-0.
Quezada settled in well. You know, he had the free passes and wild stuff were the issue for him back in the first.
Novominski skies one down the right field line, but it'll land foul.
On the other side, Toro, the hits were the problem for him. 2 hits he gave up in the first inning for Terre Haute, plated those runs. But for Quezada, it was gave up 2 walks and had a pair of wild pitches that ended up scoring Novominski.
He almost got out of it, too, as Jackson Miller lined into an unassisted double play by Wally Diaz at first. But then immediately the next pitch was a wild pitch scoring Novominski. 1-1, breaking ball inside, 2-1. In Novominski's last start, back on Saturday, went 0 for 5 with a pair of strikeouts against Danville. Trying to start week 2 strong. 2-1, low, 3-1.
Of course, that came the day after he hit the first ever home run for the Decatur Bean Ballers against the O'Fallon Hoots. First inning blast on Friday.
3-1 from Quezada in the dirt, ball 4. So Matthew Novominski got a day off, and now he's 1 for 1 and has reached base twice.
Stepping up to bat, 34, O'Neal Police.
I wonder if that was more of just Quezada being a little careful with Novominski. Already has a base hit off of him.
They missed on some pitches inside and then missed one down and away for ball 4. Now the Bean Ballers' leading hitter, O'Neal Felice, steps in. He drew a walk, his 7th of the season, his first time up. First pitch is out way upstairs, and it gets over the head of Ren Harper. So the third wild pitch from Gene Quezada allows Novominski to move into scoring position with 1 out.
He's been missing up all 3 of those wild pitches just above the glove of Ren Harper, not expecting it that high.
Felice, one of the top sluggers week 1 in the Prospect League, 4th in the conference in batting average. The 1-0. Fastball in there for a strike, 1-1. Felice leads the Bean Ballers with 8 runs driven in. But he was 0 for 4 on Sunday against Lafayette. The Aviator pitching did a nice job to not allow him on base. 1 run from Quezada, outside. 2 balls and a strike. to the Fort Myers, Florida native. Griessel quickly working out of the stretch. Gives a check to Novominski and deals. Breaking ball. Fouled back from Feliz. Count evens now at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Feliz, his timing was right on that one. It just couldn't quite get one. That one right in on his body. Could only just get a piece of it. Couldn't quite get the barrel quite to it.
It was a breaking ball that really didn't break. Kind of handcuffed Feliz. 2-2 offering. Breaking ball pops straight up in the infield. Harper tosses the mask. Murphy comes in, calls off his catcher, and he drops it. Thankfully for Carter Murphy, it lands in foul territory. But it gives O'Neal Feliz an extra life. As Murphy over there at the hot corner just booted it.
Yeah, that's one, honestly, based on where it landed, I think a lot more in Harper's territory than Murphy's. He's ranging all the way over towards home plate. Again, like you said, Truman, lucky for him that it landed in foul ground.
So with new life, Feliz digs in. Still 2 balls and 2 strikes. Matthew Novominski still at second base. Griessel deals. Fastball low. Full count. I mean, how big could that drop pop-up be in this inning if Feliz works a walk and the Bean Ballers end up putting up a crooked number?
See, if it's a walk, it's already a problem. But if he hangs something in there for Feliz to crush, they could be on the board by the end of this at-bat.
Payoff pitch. Hit deep in the air to left field. Millington ranging over into foul ground. He's got room up on the bullpen mound, and he falls down. And the ball lands about 5 feet away from him. And that's one of the dangers here at Bob Warren Field is the bullpens are on the field in in foul territory, not fair territory. But there are no separate bullpens. They are down the lines, and Millington, tracking that fly ball, ran up on the mound and lost his footing.
Yeah, you mentioned, Truman, at Workman Family Field, the fencing, once they get past the dugout, sort of cuts in, and the bullpens are fenced off. Not the case here at Bob Warren Field. A very fortunate at-bat for Feliz.
8th pitch of the at-bat, breaking ball inside. And O'Neal Feliz has worked 2 walks in his 2 plate appearances.
That should be out number 2 for Terre Haute. Of course, Millington probably won't be faulted for that one, but should have had it with the pop-up to Murphy.
Now Jagger Snitko runners at first and second and 1 out. First pitch to him. He pops it up straight in the air. Back towards us here in the press box. But lands to our left for strike 1. And it goes to show Terre Haute came in the 5th worst defense in the Prospect League. Just a .943 fielding percentage. And I mean, you also throw into account they still lead the Prospect League. 19 wild pitches thrown by their pitching staff.
Several already today from Quezada.
0-1. Snitko grounds it towards third. Murphy steps on the bag, throws to first, and he ail-mails Wally Diaz. Feliz moves up to third. Snitko gets into second on what is Carter Murphy's second error of the inning, or second mistake of the inning after getting the out, but then Jagger Snitko pulled up at second base, and he is still on the turf.
Yeah, that's one that Murphy could certainly have gotten Snitko at first if he just took his time and put a strike to Diaz. This one well above the head of Diaz, but now Snitko face down with his feet on second base.
Well, that was when he did take his time. He stepped on the bag, took a shuffle, just airmailed the throw, and now if you're a Decatur Bean Baller fan, all eyes or ears are hoping that Jagger Snitko is okay. And this is just a guy that, I mean, a resilient guy. He's battled through injuries the last 2 years, both his senior year of high school and his freshman year of college. He has torn his labrum in his left shoulder that has caused him to miss basically 2 full seasons of organized baseball. Finally healthy coming here into the summer.
Definitely shown flashes of what he's capable of. Had 6 RBIs through his first 2 starts. First, a 2 RBI triple against Thrillville, and then separate 2 RBI hits against O'Fallon Friday night.
He is able to get up, but he is hobbling with the help of the field umpire back to the dugout, not putting any weight on that right foot. So Caleb Kreider will be the one to come out of the dugout and take his spot at second base. And it was one of those plays that he seemed like he wanted to slide and then pulled up and then awkwardly touched second base. So after all of that, second out of the inning is recorded on a fielder's choice ground out, and then O'Neal Feliz and then Jagger Snitko moved up a base on the E5 from Carter Murphy. So with 2 outs, runners at second and third. Still tied 1-1 here in the top of the third. It's Jackson Miller who digs in. First pitch from Quesada. Miller grounds one up the middle. Gutierrez to his right, deep in the hole at second, makes a nice throw over to Wally Diaz to retire the side. Couple walks in the inning, in and there, headed to the bottom of the third. Still 1-1. Ready? Coming up here for the Terre Haute Rex, top of the order here in the bottom of the third. The game still tied 1-1 between the Terre Haute Rex and your Decatur Bean Ballers. Manuel Toro back out after he got a clean second inning. 1-2-3, and now gets a chance at the top of the order in Kearns, Garcia, and Carter Murphy. Left-handed hitting Ben Kearns steps into the batter's box. He picked up his 5th hit of the season to lead off the game. It was a sizzling line drive to right field that got over the head of Brandon Abernathy.
Abernathy playing very deep. Just a few steps shy of the warning trout out and right.
First pitch to Kearns outside from Toro, ball 1. It's currently 77 degrees with 8-mile-per-hour winds blowing in from right field here at Bob Warren Field. Great night for baseball, not a cloud in the sky. 1-0, clips the corner, 1-1. Kearns eventually came home to score the only run for Terre Haute thus far on a Ren Harper RBI single. 1-1 from Toro. On the corner again, 1-2. Away, away, away. He has been pitching Ben Kearns, and he's got him in the 1-ball, 2-strike hole.
Crowd didn't agree with that last pitch. They thought that one was outside to Kearns, but nonetheless, 1-2. Now he's in the hole.
Toro winds and fires. Swung on and missed. Pulled the string on the changeup from Manuel Toro, making 4 strikeouts for the righty.
Yeah, we mentioned the punch-out numbers for Toro. Rather high, a discrepancy towards the rest of the Bean Ballers staff, but he's racking them up again today. Great job changing speeds with Kearns on that one after Kearns got the better of him back in the first.
That's the Rex lineup that strikes out the 7th most times in the Prospect League. First pitch runs inside on Nomar Garcia for a ball. Garcia got a lot of cheers walking into the batter's box as he makes his first appearance of the summer. Again, Indiana State, Sycamore. Hit just 226 this past spring. 36 hits in his 159 at-bats. He struck out swinging against Toro the first time these two battled.
I heard a little something as that ball whizzed by. Must have actually gotten a little bit of the umpire who walked that one back out to Toro.
1-0's fouled off from Garcia. Home plate umpire has already taken a beating tonight. He took one off the mask back in the first inning, which between innings 1 and 2, he went and got another mask because his first mask got cracked on that foul ball. So we've already had a wardrobe change from our home plate umpire. They definitely take a beating back there. 1-1, Garcia fouls it off.
Yeah, we've had
Straight over the head of our home plate umpire.
It's been a very weird game so far. Several walks, an injury at second base, a few dropped pop-ups, a broken mask at the umpire.
Toro fires one. Outside, 2 balls. And now 2 strikes. Now breaking the action, Neil Feliz talking to the home plate umpire about what the count is. It is 2 balls and 2 strikes. For Garcia, his second year in Terre Haute, his last year in the Prospect League. Third year. He hit 282 last year. 2-2. Line to left. Jackson Snitko racing back to the track, and it's off the wall. Garcia makes the turn. He'll be into second base standing up. And the Rex have a 1-out base runner on the double.
Yeah, Toro's done well to have Terre Haute a little off pace at the plate, but Garcia was right on that one, blasting it over the head of Snitko. And he's aboard with the second extra base hit for Terre Haute so far today, and that was the first hit since the first inning for either team.
That was a breaking ball that was right in the middle of the zone. Garcia waited on it and crushed it. First pitch to Carter Murphy. He grounds one foul outside of third. In the top half of this inning, Murphy dropped a pop-up and then made an error on a throwing attempt to first base, but thankfully Gene Quezada was able to pitch his team out of it without Decatur getting on the board. It's the 0-1, low and away, 1-1. For Murphy, comes to Terre Haute from South Florida. Appeared in 33 games over the 2 years with the Bulls. It's the 1-1. Off the end of the bat, foul. 1-2. He did not play the first time these two teams faced. He was 0 for 3 with 3 walks on Sunday and a 16-11 win over the Chillicothe Paints, which snapped a 4-game losing streak for the Rex to finish up week 1 2-4, tied with the Bean Ballers. It's the 1-2, high and tight, count evens.
It's really interesting when you look at this Terre Haute lineup. Everyone checks at least one of these 3 boxes where they're either from Terre Haute, from Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic, or played or have played with Indiana State last year or in years past, and several of them check multiple of those boxes, namely Carter Murphy.
2-2, breaking ball. Strikes out Murphy, and a huge strikeout from Manuel Toro, number 5 of the evening. Murphy didn't mean to go around, but he did. Into the second strikeout of the inning. Brings up Wally Diaz with still a man on second and 2 outs.
Yeah, the Bean Ballers yet to have any of their hitters punch out. Meanwhile, that's the 5th punch out for Toro on the mound. And that breaking ball low and away seems to get a lot of swings with that. Murphy not comfortable on at all with that one. Check swing, but went too far. And a big out now with Wally Diaz at the plate.
Diaz drew a walk. First time up against Toro. First pitch in this at-bat. In there for a strike. Feliz went out and had a chat with Toro to discuss how they wanted to pitch Diaz. Tried to pitch him inside the first time around. Eventually led to the walk. First pitch of this second at-bat, though, clipped the inside corner. 0-1. In on the hands, popped up. Plenty of room for Jackson Miller near the Decatur dugout. But it gets out of play on top of the dugout for strike 2.
Before that pitch, Arroyo directing traffic, pushing Abernathy more towards right center. A guy he's plenty familiar with, as you mentioned, Truman, Wally Diaz. Plenty of power towards the pull side and doesn't want to take any chances.
Toro comes set. The 0-2. Off the hands again. Flared out towards Miller. This time he's got room. And he squeezes it for out number 3. Manuel Toro works around the 1-out walk, but no runs across in the inning for the Racks. We're headed to the 4th. Still deadlocked at 1 here on the official YouTube channel for your Decatur Bean Ballers. Back here top of the 4th in Terre Haute. 1-1 still our score if you're just joining us. Both teams scored in the first inning. Haven't scored since. The Bean Ballers coming up in the middle of their order. 5, 6, and 7. Jackson Snitko, Brandon Abernathy, and Grayson Robertson due up here. Still against Gene Quezada, who worked around a couple of walks in an error last inning but stranded a pair of runners in scoring position. And that's what's been most impressive about his performance so far, Daniel, is the way he's maneuvered around base runners and hasn't let the free passes he's warranted get to him.
Yeah, Truman, you're right. He left a runner on third even after giving up that run back in the first. Left runners in scoring position last time up. He's just settled in well, and as has Toro, just one hit between the two offenses since that first inning.
First pitch swinging is Jackson Snitko. Pops one up near the third base dugout, but well out of play. Snitko flied out to left field to end the Bean Baller first inning. Snitko came off a 1-for-4 day against Lafayette on Sunday. As the 0-1 swung on and missed, 0-2. The 0-2 from Quezada. Blooped in the air, but gets foul. Count remains the same, no balls and 2 strikes. Snitko did not play the first time these two teams met. The only game he did not appear in week 1 of the Prospect League season. Quezada fires, breaking ball. Snitko gets out of the way. 1-2 now. On the Bean Ballers left fielder. Playing left field, though. Used to seeing him at first base or DH, but today he gets to start in the outfield. He's already tracked down 1 ball. Made a nice couple of throws. Quezada now steps off. Resets with Ren Harper. He now fires. Snitko lines one. Slicing away from the center fielder. Kearns, and it gets down in the left center field gap. Big turn at first for Snitko, but he will stay there. And it's a leadoff single here in the 4th for the Bean Ballers.
Nice piece of hitting there by Snitko. Takes the breaking ball on 0-2. Not a lot of 0-2 counts, so he was sitting breaking ball on that one, taking all the way. And this one just does what the pitcher gives him. Puts it the other way, slicing away from Kearns, as you said. And he's got an opposite field base hit to lead off for Decatur.
Making now 3 straight games with a hit for Snitko. It's the first pitch to Brandon Abernathy in there for a strike. Abernathy grounded out to second base his first time up. He himself was also 1 for 3 with an RBI. He also drew a walk against the Aviators back on Sunday. Waves through a breaking ball. 0-2. He's a guy that's kind of already cemented himself as an everyday outfielder for Gabe Arroyo. Oh-2 from Quezada. Hit in the air, left field. Millington's back. He's onto the warning track, and right in front of it makes the 2-hand grab.
Yeah, this one is crunched off the bat of Abernathy, but wind blowing in quite a bit here at Bob Warren Field. Blowing in straight from center, so that one actually tails it a little more towards the left field line, but not enough to go out of the yard. Hit a little too high, just hangs up there.
Snitko still at first. Grayson Robertson now digs in. First pitch to him. Breaking ball low and away. Ball 1. Robertson popped out in foul territory to Wally Diaz at first base. A nice play made by Diaz up against the wall in foul ground. 1-0 from Quezada's upstairs.
Interesting. Quezada started both of the first 2 hitters of this inning 0-2. We haven't seen a lot of 0-2 counts to Decatur hitters. 4 walks on the day already.
2-0 to Robertson in the dirt. Ball 3. Now he's 1 pitch away from his 5th walk. Robertson got the last 2 games off. Last time we saw him was Friday night against the O'Fallon Hoots. He went 1 for 3 with a walk. 3-0. Outside corner for a strike.
He was already a step down the line. I think he thought that was that walk number 5 for Decatur, but he'll have to stand in there for at least another pitch.
That's one where we have to quickly backtrack and apologize to the umpire. Now the 3-1 from Quezada, fouled off. As Gene Quezada has worked his way all the way back, now 3-2 with Carter Rich standing on deck. Jackson Snitko leads off first. Quezada comes set. Righty fires. Grounded to short. Garcia to Gutierrez for 1. Over to first. And it's a 6-4-3 double play to get Gene Quezada out of the inning. He faces the minimum. 1 hit in the inning, but no runs across. Headed to the bottom of the 4th. Rex coming up to the dish. Ren Harper, Andrew Ortiz, and Johan Ferreira due up for the Terre Haute Rex here in the home half of the fourth. Seen some base runners for both teams since that first inning where each plated a run, but no runs have come across as we're still deadlocked 1-1 here on a Tuesday night in Terre Haute, Indiana. June 2nd is the month calendar has turned to June. But Ren Harper, who has driven in the only Rex run so far in an RBI single, steps in to face Manuel Toro for the second time. First pitch from Toro, changeup in there for strike one.
And we mentioned how Quezada's settled in well. He's probably had to do a little more damage control than Toro has, but Toro has been phenomenal since that first inning. Just one base runner.
Harper swings, grounds one near the Bean Baller dugout for strike two. That RBI single now gave Harper 8 RBIs on the season, tying Wally Diaz for the team lead. He had 2 RBIs against Decatur in that 24-4 loss, 1 hit in that game. The 0-2 from Toro. On a hop, grounded towards second. Farnes to an E. Throws over to Jackson Miller to complete the ground out, as Ren Harper is retired to start the fourth.
A job well done there by Farnes. Dealing with the sun quite a little bit, with the sun coming in just left of home plate. Gets over, gets his body in front of it. If he's not able to charge it, it's good to get your body in front of it, and gets the out quite easily with plenty of time.
Andrew Ortiz, the right fielder for the Rex, now digs in. He struck out swinging back in the first with runners at first and second and 2 outs, so a big punch out from Toro the first time these two faced. His fastball runs outside for ball one.
And since that single from Harper, it's been strikeout, strikeout, ground out, line out, strikeout, double, strikeout, pop out, ground out. A lot of soft contact and punch outs.
1-0. Grounded weakly back to Toro as he tries to flip it to Miller at first base. He drops it, allowing Ortiz to reach on the E1. Pitching fielding practice didn't pay off for Toro there, as he allows Ortiz to reach with 1 out.
Yeah, I think the lights might have just been too bright for Toro at that point. He had plenty of time. Looked like as he was going to grab the ball out of his glove, once he opened it, he smacked his glove against his leg and the ball popped out.
Now, Johan Ferreira, he also struck out swinging the first time around against Toro. First pitch to him, taking off for second base is Ortiz, and no throw from Feliz as the ball slipped out of his hand.
My apologies. Number 20, Johan Ferreira.
A nice jump there from Ortiz. Not sure if Feliz could have even gotten him despite his arm strength. But, of course, the ball just popping out. Now, back-to-back pitches. Decatur, simple mistakes.
1-0 line into left field for a base hit. Ortiz is going to get the wave. Throw in from Jackson. Snitko cut off by Caleb Kreider, and the relay throw in time. Guns down Andrew Ortiz at the plate for out number 2 and keeps this game tied.
Yeah, that's certainly a questionable send to send Ortiz there, but great throw from Snitko and Kreider, the middleman. That throw certainly would not have gotten Ortiz at the plate had he not cut it off and tossed a strike to Feliz at the plate.
And Kreider in for the injured Jagger Snitko. Completes the 7-5-2 relay throw as the first pitch to Nate Millington for a strike. Millington grounded out to Carter Rich first time up. The 0-1 home. Upstairs, ball one.
Next game, we have number 1, Keegan Farnes.
Johan Ferreira gets his lead at first. 2 for 3 swiping bags so far this summer. As a team, the Rex are 6th. 21 successful stolen bases. As Millington slaps one foul outside of third.
Announcement number 1, Nate Millington.
1 ball, 2 strikes to the young 18-year-old, who, when he committed to Indiana State and stay home and play for the Sycamores, he said it was about being around his family for another year and that he grew up going to ISU games and said to put that jersey on will be crazy. Toro deals on 1-2, fouled off. Millington stays alive for now. He was a 4-year varsity starter at Terre Haute North High School. Tallied well over 100 career hits in 92 career games. 1-2 again. Fastball runs outside, 2-2. Runner at first, 2 outs here in the bottom of the 4th. Still 1-1, Rex and Bean Ballers. 1-2 for Millington. On a hop up the middle to Rich again. He goes the short way to Farnes at second to get Ferreira for out number 3. But a little bit of action in the inning as a single from Yohan Ferreira. Jackson Snitko guns down Andrew Ortiz at the plate to keep this game tied. We're headed to the 5th. Still 1-1.
New arm on the mound for the Terre Haute Rex, Fernando Crisostomo, also a native of Santo Domingo in the Dominican Republic. That'll put an end to the night for Gene Quesada. Pitched 4 innings, no strikeouts, but just two hits and 1 run. Several walks, a handful of walks, 4 walks for the Bean Ballers on the outing for Quesada, but pitched around several base runners and only 1 run on the board for Decatur. So now Crisostomo gets 8-9-1 for Decatur in the top of the 5th. Carter Rich, the shortstop, leading off and takes a strike.
Yeah, Crisostomo going to give the Bean Ballers a look they haven't seen yet this summer. It's going to be more sidearm look from Crisostomo, the right-hander on the mound, making his 3rd appearance of the summer.
The 0-1, that one just outside. 1-1 now the count to Rich. Rich grounded out to shortstop back in the 2nd in his only at-bat so far today. That one inside almost hit him. 2-1 now the count to Rich. He was set to hit back in the top of the 4th, but a 6-4-3 GIDP from Grayson Robertson put an end to that as Rich fouls pitch off the screen. 2-2 now the count to the Bean Baller shortstop.
And Crisostomo, fellow guy, fellow Tornado at Talladega College, finished up his sophomore season.
The 2-2 to Rich. Downstairs, count goes full. 3 balls, 1 strike. Carter Rich leading off the top of the 5th for Decatur, tied 1-1 here. And Rich grounds one up the middle, fielded by the second baseman. The throw, Wally Diaz can't quite dig out, so it'll be scored an infield single for Carter Rich to lead off the top of the 5th inning.
A great hustle from Rich. We've seen that several times, beating out an infield ground ball, and that's just a tough play from Joseph Gutierrez up the middle. He gave it a great look, and then Wally Diaz showing off his flexibility over there at first to try and stretch out and snag that one, but Rich just too fast. Not going to get him on that one.
So Keegan Farnes now stepping up to the plate. Farnes grounded out to lead off the 3rd inning. Shows bunt, bunts it the other way. Fielded by the 3rd baseman, Murphy, who makes the toss across, gets Farnes by a step. Rich up to second base. A nice barehanded play by Carter Murphy for out number 1. Now runner in scoring position.
Yeah, textbook bunt right there from Farnes. Would have liked to maybe see it down the first baseline because Murphy is the one charging in at 3rd. But a good bunt nonetheless. Does his job, gets the runner into scoring position now for the top of your lineup.
So now 1 on, 1 out. Up comes Matthew Novominski, who takes strike 1. Novominski 1 for 1 today, also walked. He came around to score back in the 1st inning on a wild pitch from Quezada. The 0-1 inside behind him, and Rich will move up another 90 feet.
And talked about it, Daniel. This Terre Haute pitching staff, not only are they worst in the league in terms of ERA, allowing about 11 runs per game, which that's drastically improved this evening, but they continue to lead the league now 20 wild pitches.
We saw 2 of them back in the 1st inning. As Novominski lines that softly the other way, that is caught by the left fielder Millington. And Rich faked as if he would try to score, but trots back to 3rd base, held to 3rd, and Novominski's out number 2.
Yeah, it's a tough ball. It's hit hard by Novominski, but it's a sinking line drive, and the momentum of Millington, even though he is a high school senior, not going to test the arm. And the throw's a little offline, but I think it's smart to hold Rich there at 3rd and now see if your big slugger Feliz can come through.
Yeah, Rich had his body facing the infield, was certainly looking, engaging. He wasn't just unknowingly running back to 3rd on that one. As Feliz takes a ball outside. He's already walked twice today, walked 3 times in a 5-4 extra innings loss for Decatur against Danville. Also went 2 for 2 in that one. The 1-0 to Feliz, grounded to the left side, fielded by the shortstop Garcia, who tosses across for out number 3. The Bean Ballers get a leadoff single, but unable to do anything with it. They leave Rich stranded at 3rd. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning, all tied at 1 here in Terre Haute on the official YouTube channel of the Decatur Bean Ballers. Manuel Toro still on the mound, out for his 5th inning of work as we're set for the bottom of the 5th inning here at Bob Warren Field in Terre Haute. The Rex and Bean Ballers all tied at 1. A stark difference from what we saw in their first meeting last Wednesday, where Decatur won 24-4, its first ever win as a program over at Workman Family Field in Decatur. The first pitch grounded to the right side and through for a base hit off the bat of the second baseman, Joseph Gutierrez.
Yeah, Gutierrez just ambushing a pitch right there. Toro's been in the zone so much, but we hadn't really seen many Rex hitters swing early in the count. That time a ground ball, but in the hole between first and second. Miller gave it a dive. Not able to pull it in, but the 9-hole hitter reaches back to the top of the lineup. And an inning that appears Toro's going to have to pitch around some more traffic.
Ben Kearns, runner on first, nobody out, fouls this one out of play off to the left. Kearns doubled and came around to score back in the first inning. Also punched out, was the 4th punch out victim of Toro back in the 3rd. He's up, runner on first, nobody out in the 5th. Takes ball 1 just outside. Toro looking on. The 1-1 runner goes lined through for a base hit the same way into right field, and first to third goes Gutierrez. Does seem to be running a little gingerly, but now runners at the corners, nobody out here in the bottom of the 5th.
Yeah, not sure. I think that seemed to be a called hit and run from manager Tony Rosselli, but it worked to perfection, lining it to the right side. Smart play, Gutierrez. When the line drive was hit, he stopped, checked to make sure it got through, and kept on running. But now here's another jam where corners are going to be in for Decatur, but up the middle they're playing for 2. So at this point in the game, they'll still trade 2 outs for a run, but they'd love a strikeout right here out of Manuel Toro.
The shortstop, Nomar Gutierrez, did strike out in the first inning, but doubled off the wall and left his last time up. Fouls this one over the screen out of play, 0-1.
See if they try to attack Garcia more in. Last time up, just a pitch over the plate. Garcia was able to hammer it.
Runners at the corners, nobody out. The pitch to Garcia, lined and threw for a base hit into left field. Snitko fields it. In comes Gutierrez. Kearns over to second. And the Rex are in business to start the 5th. 3 hits have plated the run to give Terre Haute the lead, and this will do it for Manuel Toro. 4 innings plus. Runners on first and second. He'll leave as the righty Daniel Ruiz coming in from the bullpen. We'll step aside here at Bob Warren Field. Rex in business to start the bottom of the 5th. Nobody out, 2 on, 2-1 Rex lead. Daniel Ruiz, the right-hander, the new arm on the mound for Decatur, after 3 singles from Terre Haute to start their half of the 5th inning. Now 2-1 Decatur, or rather Terre Haute leads. That'll end the day for Manuel Toro, still responsible for the runners at first and second. Ruiz on to face Carter Murphy, the third baseman, to lead off against him. Murphy lined out to third back in the first inning, was a punch-out victim back in the third. Ruiz deals to Murphy, fouls this one back and out of play. So the official line for Toro, 4 innings plus, 5 strikeouts, just 1 walk, but 7 hits for Terre Haute, and still responsible for the runners on first and second. Ruiz takes a peek back at second. Now runners go. The pitch, the throw down from Felice to second, hits off of Garcia. Run coming around to score, and Garcia to third. And now the throw to the infield goes away, and Garcia's going to score too. A disastrous play. A comedy of errors by the Bean Ballers in the field. And the Rex have now plated 3 runs. They lead 4-1 here in the bottom of the 5th. Still nobody out.
Yeah, I mean, comedy of errors. It was a great read from the base runners, a breaking ball from Ruiz. There was no chance for Feliz. And, I mean, trying to back pick him, but then the throw hits off Garcia, and then just a poor throw back in from Novominski.
Little nubber off the bat, foul. Lands just foul with the first base line. Still 0-2 the count to Carter Murphy. Or rather, 1-2 the count on the Rex third baseman. So now it's a 4-1 ball game. Decatur finds itself in a hole. Still nobody out. The 1-2 from Ruiz. Breaking ball doesn't quite catch the corner. 2-2 now the count. Ruiz, this is his 3rd appearance in the Bean Ballers uniform. That one popped up along the infield. Under it is the third baseman, Kreider, who has the catch for out number 1.
Good response there from Daniel Ruiz, who did his job. I mean, that would have been the pitch you would have liked if, and the result, if there had been runners still on base. Unfortunately, a couple of errors drive those in, but if you're Ruiz, you just got to now get these final 2 outs and see if the Bean Baller bats are ever going to wake up.
So that'll make way for Wally Diaz. Walked back in the first inning, popped out in foul ground to Jackson Miller, the first baseman, in the third. Diaz, the reigning Prospect League Player of the Year, hit 17 home runs in Prospect League play last season, as he lines this one deep in the air to left field, and that one's into the trees. So after 17 home runs last season with the Rex, after 24 home runs with Oklahoma Wesleyan in the spring, Wally Diaz has his first long ball of the season this year.
Well, when we talked about it, Terre Haute as a team had yet to hit a home run, but if there was going to be a man to do it, it was going to be Wally Diaz, and just too good of a pitch, breaking ball right over the plate, and Diaz such a good hitter that he knew it immediately off the bat, and this 5th inning has kind of turned into a disaster for the Bean Ballers. They're on damage control. Down now by 4.
Still only 1 away. Yeah, everyone here at Bob Warren Field knew that one was leaving the yard. Novominski and Snitko, that one was hit right between them out into the trees in left center field. They barely gave it a look, didn't even bother to trot back. And Ren Harper now, the catcher, steps up to the plate, hitting lefty against the right-handed Ruiz, who deals a strike. Count now 1-1 on Harper. That one fly deep to left field, but hooking foul and out of play. Harper taps the next pitch foul. Still 1-2 the count to the Rex backstop. There's some pitches, sometimes it's hard to tell in the stands whether it's going to leave the yard. There was no doubting that one. Absolutely blasted off the bat of Diaz as Harper grounds that one through past a diving Farnes into right field. Another base hit, the 5th of the inning for the Rex, and still only 1 away.
That kind of has just been the kryptonite to this Bean Ballers pitching staff. They give up the 4th most hits in the league. Now have given up 68 hits as a pitching staff. I mean, they're middle of the pack in about everything else, but if there's one thing that has caused them trouble, it is giving up hits, and they just get hit around, can't find strike 3, can't induce that weak contact, and that gets you into trouble a lot of times.
Andrew Ortiz, the right fielder, now up to the plate. Runner goes. The throw down from Felice is a good one, but just too much of a jump for Ren Harper, and he's now on second base with a stolen base.
Well, and Terre Haute's going to keep swiping bags. Daniel Ruiz, he's got to come up with some sort of slide step. He's got this big leg kick, and that's just not going to play, especially here when Terre Haute's a free-stealing team. They led the league, 179 stolen bags last summer.
The next offering in there for a strike 2 to Ortiz. Ortiz struck out back in the first inning, reached via an error from the pitcher Manuel Toro in the 4th, came around and was cut down at home on a 7-5-3 relay. That one grounded to short. Rich has it up and throws him out at first for out number 2. Moving up on the play to third base is Ren Harper.
And now, number 20, Johan Correa.
So now Johan Ferreira, the designated hitter today. (5-1) Rex lead here in the last of the 5th inning, 2 outs, but the 4 runs so far this inning that the Rex have scored are the difference as Ferreira swings ahead of a breaking ball from Ruiz. Count now even 1-1.
Yeah, and just talked about damage control. You get out of here down by 4, you've got 4 innings to find those 4 equalizers on offense.
The 1-1 ahead of the breaking ball again is Ferreira, 1-2. That one in the dirt, blocked by Felice. Harper trots back to third base. 2-2 now the count to Ferreira. It was 3 singles to lead the inning off for the Rex. First by Gutierrez, then he went first to third on a single from Kearns and scored on a single from Nomar Garcia. As that one lined out into left field, giving chase and making a sliding catch is Jackson Snitko in a new position. He makes it look easy, but the Rex get 4 runs on the board, including a solo shot from Wally Diaz. We go to the 6th inning. The Bean Ballers coming up. They've got some work to do, down 5-1 here at Bob Warren Field.
Top of the 6th here, and your Bean Ballers have work to do. A 4-spot put up in the bottom half of the 5th inning for the Terre Haute Rex. Give them the 5-1 advantage, and it has just been a slow offensive day. And it seems like, Daniel, another game where it's going to track up as just some missed opportunities for the Bean Ballers ultimately decide this one.
Absolutely. Several runners left on base, and then just a big inning. You give up a 4-spot there. Death by 1,000 paper cuts until a huge paper cut from Wally Diaz's bat.
Truman, Griessel, Daniel Herzog, if you are just joining us, here to begin week 2 of Prospect League action. First pitch to Caleb Kreider is in from a strike from Fernando Cristomo. Kreider came in for the injured Jagger Snitko in the 3rd, who left after reaching on a fielder's choice. You know, 1 to Kreider. Swung on and missed over the top of a breaking ball, 0-2. Kreider was 1 for 2 with a walk in Lafayette on Sunday. Comes into this game hitting 111, just 1 for 9. Trying to start a Bean Ballers rally. The 0-2 from Cristomo. Just below the zone, 1-2.
Yeah, Truman, you talked about that throwing motion from Cristomo. A little bit of a different look for the Bean Ballers. Goes nearly sidearm with it, especially dipping down with that breaking ball.
1-2 fastball skips in there for ball 2. Bean Ballers had bases loaded, nobody out in the 1st. They only scored 1 run. Then in the 3rd, they had runners at 2nd and 3rd and 2 outs and only scored and didn't score. It's 2-2's fouled back from Kreider. And then last in the 4th, they had a leadoff man on, couldn't score. And then last inning, they had a runner at 3rd with 1 out and also couldn't score. And that's just been some good defense from the Rex, but also just the Bean Ballers shooting themselves in the foot a couple of times. And ultimately, the dam broke on the pitching side. 4 put up in the 5th by Terre Haute. It's a 2-2 offering from Cristomo. Down and away again, 3-2. Jackson Miller stands on deck. Cristomo out of the stretch. Payoff pitch. Inside, ball 4. So Caleb Kreider works a walk to begin the Bean Ballers' 6th. And now Jackson Miller digs in with the leadoff man on for the 2nd straight inning.
Yeah, great at-bat there from Kreider. We mentioned it, Truman. This isn't out of the question that the Bean Ballers could come back here, especially with how wild and just all over the place the Rex pitching staff has been so far this season. So a great job to get the lineup started with a walk.
First pitch to Jackson Miller. In on the corner for strike 1. 5th walk of the season drawn by Caleb Kreider. If there's one thing the Bean Ballers continue to do, it's draw walks. They lead the Prospect League now, 61 of them drawn as a team. The 0-1 to Miller, breaking ball upstairs, 1-1. Miller had one of the at-bats that cost the Bean Ballers a chance to score multiple runs. That was back in the 1st. He lined into a double play when he came up with nobody out and the bases loaded. 1-1, popped high in the air, straight up. Giving it a look is Harper, but it's back into the seats. He then grounded out in the 3rd to end the inning, stranding a runner on 3rd base. One-two from Cristomo. Breaking ball in the dirt, blocked by Harper. Count is now even. Miller, originally out of Fenton, Missouri, south of St. Louis, attends Quincy University at 235 in his true freshman season. Predominantly a catcher, but can play first. 2-2 lifted high in the air left. Shallow. Millington coming in. Now trails into foul territory, and he makes the 2-hand grab on the foul line for out number 1.
Yeah, shadow starting to creep in here at Bob Warren Field. Might have affected that a little bit. So awkwardly hit the other way off the bat of Miller, but I'm really impressed by the play so far, especially on the defensive end from Millington out and left. He kept Rich at third one time and made a couple of nice plays coming in.
Jackson Snitko now digs in. Singled his last time up. First pitch from Cristomo's upstairs. First Snitko is his 5th hit of the summer, hitting just shy of 300 coming into this one. 286, making his 5th start. Chases a heater upstairs for strike 1. One. Snitko lines this one deep into the alleyway in right center. It's going to get down. Ortiz can't track it down. He cuts it off before it gets to the wall. But into second base with a double is Snitko going over to third. Is Caleb Kreider putting 2 in scoring position for the Bean Ballers.
Yeah, Snitko gets all of this one. A low line drive that hung up there for a while, but ended up getting down. Kreider just didn't quite get the best read on it. He could have easily been scoring with how long that ball sort of just hung up there. Wind blowing in here at Bob Warren Field, so balls are staying up in the air. Gabe Arroyo gave him a half wave, but ended up giving him the stop sign at third.
Making now 6 hits on the season for Snitko and his first extra base hit. Brandon Abernathy's first pitch swinging. He slices one into right field, and it gets down. Kreider comes in to score. Snitko moves up 90 feet, but runners at the corners. Bean Ballers nail trail 5-2.
Yeah, it just goes back to what we were talking about, Truman, that walk from Kreider to start things off. With what this Rex pitching staff has been known to do with just being erratic, giving up runs, giving up plenty of free passes, and making long innings, a comeback wasn't out of the question, and Decatur's putting something together here in the 5th.
Tying run out at the plate in the form of Grace Robertson, but he dribbles one to second. Gutierrez to Garcia for 1. Over to first. In time for 2. Third double play the Rex have turned, and it's the third to get them out of a jam. But the Bean Ballers get 1 on an RBI single from Brandon Abernathy. Deficit sits now just at 3. Headed to the home half of the 6th with the Rex on top. 5-2 here on the official YouTube channel for your Decatur Bean Ballers. Alex Tame makes his 3rd appearance of the summer in a Decatur Bean Baller uniform. Takes over for Daniel Ruiz, who got the 3 outs in the 5th. But now he comes in only trailing by 3 as the Bean Ballers got to run back in the top of the 6th. But they'll need Tame to do his job and throw up a 0 against the bottom of the order. Gets the 8, 9, and 1 hitters here in the home half of the 6th for the Terre Haute Rex. pitched an inning and a third on opening night against Lafayette, gave up 2 unearned runs on 1 hit, then pitched in shutout inning against Thrillville on Thursday. First pitch to Nate Millington, low and inside for ball 1. Did strike out about her against the Thrillbillies in that 9-5 loss. Comes to Decatur from Lincoln Land Community College. Right-hander fires. On the corner. Strike 1.
I think if Decatur wants a chance in this one, Tame absolutely needs to throw a 0 up. That big 4 spot had the momentum flying in the Rex's direction. Decatur, a couple of hits, took some back, but that double play killed it. They had something special going on back in the 6th. Top of the 6th, that is.
Gets Millington to wave over the top of a changeup. Second time today, Grayson Robertson has grounded into an inning-ending double play, and this one a real killer. Runners at the corners, 1 out, down by 3. Chance to put a big number up. Instead, it's just 1, and now a shattered bat off the bat of Millington. Right to Jackson Miller at first. He steps on the bag himself, but look out, shrapnel on the field.
Yeah, part of the barrel that was just sliced off. Luckily didn't quite go back to Tame. Landed just to the left of the mound. But certainly a scary sight if you're a pitcher to just see the bat shatter and you don't quite know where the ball goes when you see just fragments everywhere.
Leadoff man is retired, brings in Joseph Gutierrez. He's 1 for 2 today. He singled to lead off the 5th last inning and came around to score. First of 4 runs for the Rex. Tame winds and fires. Pitch only makes it about 55 feet in the dirt for a ball.
Terre Haute Rex number 13, Joseph Gutierrez.
Alex Tame stands at 6 foot, 180 pounds, and arguably the best mustache on the team.
Doesn't have much competition there, but I think I'd agree with you, Truman.
1-0 home. Grounded up the middle. To his left and to a dive. Rich picks up the ball, fires it to first, but not in time as Gutierrez legs out the infield single.
Just a great job from Rich ranging over, making the play. He probably did have time initially when he reached down, but fumbled with it a little bit and then bounced the throw to Miller. Gutierrez was certainly safe all the way once that happened.
Well, I mean, your point to Tame's facial hair competition, really his only competition is C.J. Scheffel, but Scheffel's got the full beard plus mustache combo. Tame is just a mustached man.
Caleb Kreider also, guy on third base, does feature some facial hair, but that also is not just a mustache.
Back to the top of the lineup for the Rex and Ben Kearns. Working on a very nice day. 2 for 3 with 2 runs scored. First pitch from Tame upstairs for ball 1. For Gutierrez, that was his 6th hit now of the summer. Tame fires, breaking ball, top of the zone, misses. 2-0. Now to Ben Kearns. Kearns in his 3rd year with Terre Haute. Spent each of the last 2 summers. Tame now gives a check over to first base on Gutierrez, but he dives back in safely. For Kearns coming into this year, he was just a career 158 hitter with the Rex, and he has turned that around slightly to begin this year. 211 he came into this game, but a nice 2-hit performance and possibly more will add to those numbers. 2-0 runs inside, 3-0. Snowmar Garcia stands on deck.
In Tame's 2 appearances so far, still a 0 ERA, had 2 runs back in the opening game against the Lafayette Aviators, but neither of those earned runs.
3-0 home from Tame. Upstairs, ball 4. So now 2 men aboard for Nomar Garcia.
Several non-competitive pitches on that at-bat from Tame. to Kearns, and John Toney out to have a chat with Tame.
Nomar Garcia.
That's one of those chats that's just going to be pitching coach to pitcher. Not even O'Neill Feliz is welcome in this mound visit. Tame got Nate Millington to ground out to first to begin the inning. Then Joseph Gutierrez singled up the middle before Ben Kearns drew the 4-pitch walk. Now another dangerous man, Nomar Garcia. He's had a very impressive first game of the summer with the Rex. 2 for 3, including an RBI single his last time up. Much like Kearns, Garcia is a returner to this Terre Haute roster. 3rd year with the Rex. He hit .282 last year, .270 back into the summer of 2024. This is career game number 94. Excuse me, career game number 104 in a Rex uniform for the senior. He's trying to answer the Bean Ballers run in the top half of this inning with a run of their own. Tame checks over at Gutierrez at second and fires. Breaking ball low and away. 5 straight misses outside the zone. .1-0 from Tame. Breaking ball pops straight up in the air. Shallow center. In comes Abernathy Novominski. And it'll be Abernathy who makes the grab for out number 2.
It's a big out to have. Again, you're trying to play damage control. Now with 2 runners on, only 1 out. Now you're just an out away from getting this one away. You've got non-threatening contact there. That ball would have landed in shallow right had it landed, but Novominski, or rather Abernathy, able to make the catch. And now you got, again, just 1 good pitch from getting out of it unscathed.
Murphy's 0 for 3 today. 2 men on, 2 out here for the Rex. First pitch from Tame. Breaking ball in there for a strike. Murphy, much like Kearns and Garcia, also playing in his 3rd summer with the Rex, but his looked a little different. He played 2023 and 2024 here in Terre Haute before last year he spent with the Wilson Tobbs of the Coastal Plains League. 0-1 from Tame. Skied in the air to center. Novominski didn't have to move far as he makes the catch to retire the side. 1 hit, 2 left in the inning for the Rex, but no runs across. We're headed to the 7th. Bean Ballers still trail 5-2. Tommy Johnson takes over for Fernando Cristomo. Went 2 innings, yielded 1 run on 3 hits, 1 walk, but kept the lead intact for Terre Haute, and he would be in line for the victory. But now the man from Oakland City University takes over. He makes his 3rd appearance of the summer here in the Prospect League, but in each of his first 2 appearances, Daniel, he's given up runs. So if there's a guy that the Bean Ballers are looking to rally against, it's Mr. Johnson.
Yeah, and this is a Bean Ballers lineup that put 24 up on the Terre Haute Rex last time the 2 teams faced off back on Wednesday. So certainly a lineup that knows how to put up runs against Terre Haute. Just not much to show for yet today.
First pitch to Carter Rich is upstairs from Johnson for ball one to begin the seventh. Bean Ballers trail 5-2. Both teams scored in the first. Then it was a 4 spot in the fifth by the Rex before the Bean Ballers got one back in the sixth. 1-0 soared from Johnson as Rich goes around on the swing. Rich singled to begin that fifth inning before he was ultimately stranded at third base. 1-1. Breaking ball inside, 2-1. Johnson last pitched on Friday night against Danville, and in a 7-5 loss, he gave up 2 runs on 2 hits in 3 innings pitched. Also did have 3 strikeouts. It's the 2-1. Swung on and missed again from Rich. Johnson had a 6.48 ERA in 50 innings for Oakland City. 2-2. Fouled straight off the mask of Ren Harper.
I was going to say, Rich not known to swing and miss much. Hit well north of 300 last season at Milliken. So he knows how to stay in at bats and get on base.
For Richie, to 445 on base percentage. 59 hits, also walked 25 times. Battling against Tommy Johnson here to start the seventh. Bean Ballers just looking to chip away at this disadvantage they face. Johnson out of the windup. The right-hander fires. Breaking ball in there. Strike 3 called. Rich thought it was above the zone, but he's headed back to the dugout for out number 1.
Yeah, absolutely frozen in his place was Rich with that breaking ball. Might have been a little above as he complained to the umpire, but nonetheless, he's out number 1. In the same way a first pitch can dictate an at-bat, a first out can certainly dictate an inning.
Keegan Farnes now digs in. He takes the ball above the zone. 0 for 1, laid down a sacrifice bunt his last time up. Johnson working quickly. The 1-0. Just below the zone. 2-0. Johnson was predominantly a starter for the Blue Knights. For the Oaks, excuse me. Some of his best start went 7 innings twice against West Virginia Tech and Kentucky Christian. 2-0 to Farnes. In there for strike 1. In each of those 7-inning outings, he gave up just 1 run. He also had 8 strikeouts, a season high, against West Virginia Tech back on March the 21st. 2-1 to Farnes. Off the hands, flared down the left field line, but well foul.
Johnson sort of wiggles that glove while he's in the windup, facing down the batter violently before he gets started in his windup. He's a teammate, one of a few Rex teammates of Bean Ballers starting pitcher Nate Trimble last season.
2-2 off the end of the bat, rolled over to Garcia at short. He's up with the throw, beats Farnes by a step. 2 quick outs recorded by Tommy Johnson.
Yeah, Garcia showing off the arm, really slung that one to get the speedy Farnes at first.
There's one problem that Johnson has had is he's had 5 walks through his 4 innings up to this point. He's talked about that outing on Friday. He also pitched on opening night against Thrillville. Gave up 4 runs on 2 hits in an inning. Had 3 strikeouts, but also had 2 walks. It's the first pitch back to the leadoff hitter for the Bean Ballers. Matthew Novominski is high. Novominski 1 for 2 tonight, but he also has drawn a walk. He's also scored one of the 2 Bean Baller runs. 1-0 right down Main Street for a strike. Johnson seems to have much better command than he had in his 2 outings last week. 1-1 as the breaking ball loops outside, 2-1. For the Rex, they'll have the middle of their order, Diaz, Harper, and Ortiz due up in the home half of this inning. 2-1 from Novominski, foul tipped back in the mid of Ren Harper, strike 2. And now Tommy Johnson's 1 strike away from a clean 7th. Righty winds and fires. Novominski dribbles one to third. Murphy has it, plants his feet, throws to first, but it's wide of the bag. And the throw goes out of play, so Matthew Novominski will be awarded second base on what should be scored as yet another throwing error on Carter Murphy.
Novominski hustling down the line, so Murphy certainly had to put a little mustard on that and just misses the target, as we've seen him do a couple times so far today. Fortunately for Decatur, there's already 2 outs in the inning.
But an opportunity. Man in scoring position on the 2-base throwing error from Murphy. O'Neal Feliz digs in. First pitch is taken for a strike. No hits up to this point for O'Neal. He's walked twice and grounded out his last time up. But a nice opportunity with the speed Novominski possesses to plate another run. The 0-1 from Johnson. Breaking ball low. And for Murphy on that Novominski play, it was off the end of Novominski's bat, slicing away from him, that he had to stop his feet and throw flat-footed. And that caused the throw to run towards home plate on the first base side. Diaz tried to save it. 1-1 from Feliz, fouled off 1-2.
But no hit either. That's just ruled straight E5 and not infield single and then advancing on the throw.
Johnson yet again 1 strike away from getting out of the 7th. Gives a check to Novominski and fires. And swing and a miss from Feliz. Second strikeout of the inning for Johnson. And he retires the Bean Ballers side. 1 man left on the air, but no runs across. Time to stretch here from Bob Warren Field. Your Bean Ballers still trail the Rex 5-2. Alex Tame back out for a second inning of work. Truman, Griessel, Daniel Herzog here with you. And, well, Daniel, Bean Ballers are down to their final 6 outs, but if it's Tame's job just to throw up another 0 like he did in the 6th.
Yeah, Tame did a great job to throw up a 0. I think that 7th was a big missed opportunity. We've talked about missing opportunities for Decatur, but in this case, it was just who was up. They had 8, 9, 1, 2. Carter Rich, a guy who hit 360 last year at Milliken, the first punch-out victim all day for Decatur. And then Keegan Farnes, a guy who Gabe Arroyo has already slated at leadoff at some point this year, and he grounds out. And then the only reason it wasn't a 1-2-3 was because of the second throwing error on the day from Carter Murphy, and then a punch-out to O'Neal Feliz. So a big missed opportunity, a 0 from Decatur in the top of the 7th, and they still find themselves in a 3-run hole.
Middle of the Rex order here in the 7th. Wally Diaz leads off, takes the first pitch high and tight for ball 1. Diaz launched his first homer, and I'm sure first of many of the summer his last time up. It's 1 for 2 as he's also drawn a walk.
Yeah, 17 last season with the Rex, so I'm sure there are plenty more long balls to come, especially here at Bob Warren Field.
The 1-0 in there for a strike from Tame. Tame worked around a 1-out single and a 1-out walk. Get the final 2 hitters of the 6th to fly out. Another one runs high and tight to Diaz. For Diaz, it was his team-leading 9th hit as well as his team-leading 9th RBI 2-1 downstairs, 3-1. Ren Harper stands on deck, who's 2 for 3 today. Tame out of the stretch on 3-1. Popped up by Diaz, but foul. Full count.
Yeah, Decatur's certainly seen Diaz's power. The home run today, back on Wednesday, he had a leadoff triple. All 6'2", 240 of him, getting him to third base.
Payoff pitch upstairs from Tame. So Diaz draws his second walk of the game, and it's a leadoff walk here in the Rec 7th. Brings in Ren Harper to the left-handed batter's box. Both hits that Harper has on the day are both singles.
It's okay to be a little careful with Diaz, but leading off the inning now, you've already got a runner aboard. Trying to keep runs off the board. Might come back to bite you.
First pitch from Tame. Inside, ball 1. Just the third walk Wally Diaz has drawn so far this summer. He's been swinging at a lot of pitches. 1-0 from Tame, outside 2-0.
Yeah, first 6 games, no homers. I bet if you're a guy like him, you're just looking for that first one. So I'm sure must have been a nice trip around the bases back in the 5th.
2-0 from Tame. Popped in the air. Shallow center. Rich is out. Novominski's in. It'll be Rich who camps under it, and he makes the grab for out number 1. And now a throwback towards first. Gets away from the first baseman, Miller. And Wally Diaz is going to move up to second base. Not sure if Diaz planned it, but he kind of trotted back slowly to first base to get a throw out of Rich, and then Miller not able to knock the throw down. So now the third error from the Bean Ballers puts a man in scoring position with 1 out.
Yeah, the throw back from Rich. Miller had to make sure not to get in Diaz's way getting back while he tried to field it. Then gets away, and Diaz is on second.
First pitch to Andrew Ortiz is in there for a strike. He reached on the first of those 3 errors. That was a fielding error from the starting pitcher for the Bean Ballers tonight, Manuel Toro, back in the 4th. Ortiz ended up stealing a bag, but then getting thrown out at home. 0-1 from Tame, runs outside 1-1. And it's just one of those plays I'm not sure why Rich tries that play. I mean, Diaz not a stolen base threat at all. But then you just give up a free 90 feet on both a bad throw that was in the dirt, but then, I mean, you could knock Jackson Miller that, hey, why aren't we knocking that ball down?
And to be fair, I think if Miller has his feet on the bag, and if that's a good throw from Carter Rich, honestly, Diaz had wandered so far off. I do think he gets him at first. Problem is Rich spiked the throw, and Miller wasn't able to knock it down. So both sort of at fault there, and now Diaz, who had ranged far off, is now on second base.
1-1 from Tame is fouled straight back into the netting, 1-2. Gets the ball quickly back, and he's quickly back on the rubber. The 1-2 offering in the dirt, backhanded by Feliz. Now 2-2 to the Rex right fielder. Ortiz third on the team with 6 RBIs. Chance to extend that lead back to 6 with Diaz standing at second base. 2-2 home. Breaking ball inside. Count has run full with Johan Ferreira standing on deck.
The defense has been strong for Decatur today, but it's when there's just routine stuff, just tossing the ball around. There have been quite a few mishaps.
Payoff pitch. Feliz swings. Skies it in the air. Down the right field line. Long run for Abernathy. But it lands in foul territory.
That one was interesting. It seemed like Miller wasn't too quick to run towards that. Neither was Abernathy. They were both ranging way too far over, but neither of them working too quickly to get to that one.
Seventh pitch of the at-bat coming between Tame and Andrew Ortiz. Payoff pitch again. Line to the other right. Not too far for Abernathy to go this time. He makes the grab. Diaz tags and heads to third. Great throw in from Abernathy, but just late. As the big slugger rumbles 90 feet more on out number 2.
Yeah, Abernathy has an absolute fire hose, which we've already seen on full display. Got a runner at second after a missed pickoff throw from the catcher against Danville on Saturday. And he makes this one a lot closer than it should be.
It's now Johan Ferreira, who already has a hit today. 1 for 3 into his 4th at-bat. But it seems like Gabe Arroyo is just going to show the 4, send Ferreira on down to first base via the intentional walk to bring up the young 18-year-old Nate Millington. Probably a smart decision. I mean, Millington broke his bat his last time up. His first game playing against real college talent. Want to face the young slugger versus the seasoned veteran in Ferreira.
Yeah, interesting message being sent if I'm Millington.
First and third, 2 outs. Ferreira goes on the first pitch, but Feliz will just let him. This pitch was in the dirt anyway. Yet another stolen base for the Rex tonight. Puts now 2 in scoring position.
It also shows that it wasn't even about Ferreira at all. It was just favoring the matchup with Millington.
1-0's inside 2-0. But not the way you wanted to start this matchup if it was the one you wanted.
No.
2 pitches that haven't been close. Millington did drive in 7 runs this past spring season, his final one at Terre Haute North High School. Looking for that first hit in the Prospect League. 3-0. Fastball runs high and away. 9-hole hitter Joseph Gutierrez, who has a couple of hits tonight, including one off Tame, looms in the on-deck circle.
This would be the 3rd straight inning that Gutierrez would come up to the plate should Millington reach.
3-0 home. On the corner, strike 1. Tame trying to survive another inning with a couple of base runners on. The 3-1. Grounded up the middle, off the glove of Tame. Long run for Rich. He's not going to throw it in time. Millington is safe, and coming home to score is both Diaz and Johan Ferreira. And it's a 2 RBI infield single for Nate Millington.
Yeah, that one Tame just not able to grab. And then Rich ranging over fields this to the right of second base. Had little chance of getting Millington. And then just the heads-up base running of Ferreira coming around to score on that intentional walk. Coming back to bite Decatur.
And that'll do it for Alex Tame. He can't get out of the 7th. 2 runs already home. He's responsible for the runner at first. New pitcher coming on for the Bean Ballers. They now trail 7-2 here on the official YouTube channel for your Decatur Bean Ballers. Lefty Caden Davis makes his 4th appearance of the summer here for Decatur. He's got a 3.86 ERA in 4 2/3 innings pitched up to this point. He last pitched on Sunday. Gave up 2 runs on 2 hits against the Aviators, but here he's just looking to get the final out here in the 7th and take a 5-run deficit headed into the 8th with the Bean Ballers down to their final 6 outs after Nate Millington, the young slugger, gets his first career hit in a Rex uniform on a 2-run infield single to score both Wally Diaz and Johan Ferreira and pad this Rex lead.
Yeah, Davis looked really sharp in his first outing. That one an inning against the Rex last Wednesday, and then was masterful down in Marion against the Thrillville Thrillbillies. 2 2/3, just 2 hits, a pair of strikeouts, no runs, but the dangerous Lafayette order came back to bite him. His last time out Sunday. Let's see if he can fare a little better and not allow any more damage to this Terre Haute lineup here in the 7th.
It's Joseph Gutierrez. 2 for 3 already tonight, including a run scored back in the 5th. Lefty-lefty matchup, infield shaded around to the right for Gutierrez. Davis just needs 1 out to send us to the top of the 8th. First pitch from the lefty. Outside ball 1. Gutierrez has hit the ball hard all 3 times tonight. First time up, he lined out to Abernathy and right. And then his back-to-back singles in the 5th and 6th inning, making it 3 straight innings. Gutierrez has come to the plate. The 1-0 also runs outside, 2-0. Gutierrez, Wally Diaz's teammate at Oklahoma Westland, transferred from Connors State College where he hit .359 in his junior season. Taking off for seconds, Millington, breaking ball in the dirt, no chance for Feliz. Millington moves into scoring position. It's now 3-0 on Joseph Gutierrez. Making now 6 stolen bases for the Rex as a team tonight. A perfect 6 for 6. Now 27 of them as total. And the 3-0 home. In there for strike 1. Ben Kearns, the leadoff hitter, stands on deck. He is 2 for 3 tonight with 2 doubles. Or excuse me, a double and a single. And 2 runs scored. Davis gives a check over to Millington at second and fires. Breaking ball blocked by Feliz, but it's ball 4 to Gutierrez. Puts 2 runners back on for the top of the lineup in Kearns.
Yeah, Davis seemed like control was the name of the game for him his first 2 times out, and a lack of control was the story for him in Lafayette on Sunday, that is. A 5-pitch walk to start his outing tonight. Now he has to deal with the top of the order.
3rd straight inning, Kearns is batting. Also the 3rd different pitcher he's facing. First pitch upstairs to him. Kearns went 2 for 3 against the starter Manuel Toro before he drew a walk in the 6th off Alex Tame. 1-0. Low 2-0. As Davis struggling to find the strike zone here to begin his 4th outing. Trying to find that 3rd out. Bean Ballers trail 7-2 here to the Terre Haute Rex. Bottom of the 7th, 1st and 2nd, 2 outs. 2-0, outside 3-0. And Davis's 1 miss outside the zone to walking the bases loaded for Nomar Garcia.
Yeah, Truman, it's just been little mistakes this inning for Decatur. The throw back from Rich, trying to get Diaz at first. A low percentage throw moves him over to second.
3-0 finds its way into the strike zone for strike 1.
And then the Abernathy, of course, the fly ball to him. Diaz wouldn't move up if he's on first, but he does because he's on second. So instead of having a runner on first base, you've got him at third.
3-1, chased upstairs from Kearns, swung on and missed. Count now runs full. Runners should be off on the pitch. Millington at second, Gutierrez at first. Caden Davis versus Ben Kearns. Payoff pitch from the lefty. Hit in the air to right field. Abernathy ranges over, he camps under it, and he makes the grab to retire the side. But two more home here in the 7th for the Rex. Bean Ballers down to their final 6 outs. Gonna need a big rally. Down 7-2. Head to the 8th.
It's the heart of the order for the Bean Ballers here to start the top of the 8th. 3-4-5, Kreider, Jackson Miller, and then Jackson Snitko. Bean Ballers trailing 7-2 here. It was tied 1-1 through the first 4 innings, but then a big 4 spot in the 5th for the Rex, and Decatur gets 1 back in the 6th, but 2 more just now in the 7th for Terre Haute as Tommy Johnson out for his 2nd inning of work. He'll face Caleb Kreider. The 1-0 misses. 1-0, actually rather in there for a strike. Now 1-1 the count to Kreider.
Zone might just be getting a little bit bigger in this not very close game, but that's why I'm up here in the press box and not down there calling balls and strikes.
That one in there, strike 2 now to Kreider. Kreider yet to record an official at bat today. Came in to replace an injured Jagger Snitko in the 3rd. He walked in his first plate appearance back in the 6th to lead off. Came around to score that inning. That one in there, called strike 3. Breaking ball freezes Kreider. And Kreider's out number 1 here in the top of the 8th.
Been very impressed from Tommy Johnson. I mean, again, he struggled with walks, struggled with giving up hits his first 2 appearances, but he has come in here and just mowed down these Bean Baller hitters, and it seems like the Bean Ballers are anticipating that they're going to walk, and I think that needs to change. You're going to face some good pitching. You need to anticipate, hey, swing away, get on base via a hit.
First pitch upstairs off the glove of Ren Harper to Jackson Miller, the first baseman. Miller still looking to reach, 0 for 3 on the day. Grounds this one foul and out of play off to the right. Now you mentioned the strikeout numbers for Johnson. 4 runs on opening night in just an inning, but all 3 outs via the punch-out. No strikeouts for the Bean Ballers tonight until the 7th inning, where 2 of them went down to Johnson and a 3rd to start the 8th here as Miller lines that one. Reaching over to grab it is Wally Diaz at first base, and a quick out number 2.
Another broken bat. Might have at least sounded like it, but again, I just feel like Johnson's done a great job. He's come in and he's been just attacking these Bean Baller hitters, and they're just kind of waiting back and almost trying to be like, hey, we're just going to walk every time. But there's got to be a point where you've got to ambush these pitchers.
Now Jackson Snitko up to the plate, doubled his last time up into the gap in right center, was stranded at third after Grayson Robertson grounded into a double play. Snitko 2 for 3 on the day, also singled back in the 4th inning. He takes strike 2 quickly behind 0-2. Decatur scored a run in the top of the first, but had bases loaded, nobody out. And one's all they could push across. This one lined out to short, and making the catch is the shortstop Nomar Garcia to end the inning. So the Bean Ballers go quickly 1-2-3 down to their final 3 outs. We go to the bottom of the 8th inning. 7-2, Terre Haute leads. Home half of the 8th inning here at Bob Warren Field. Terre Haute leading 7-2, looking for revenge after falling to Decatur last Wednesday. 24-4, the Bean Ballers took down the Rex in their first ever win as a program. Caden Davis, the man on the mound, got the final out after stranding a pair. The final 2 outs, rather, back in the 7th inning. On for the 8th inning, and leading off against him is Nomar Garcia, the shortstop. Or rather, a substitution into the game, Darloon Ferreira. Ferreira started at short when the Rex visited the Bean Ballers, takes ball 1. Davis deals the 1-0. That one inside, bounces by Felice, ball 2.
And it also has been interesting tonight, Daniel, as you know, one of the hitters that kind of has been quiet has been O'Neal Feliz. Granted, he's drawn a couple of walks, but it seems like in the 2 losses that, if the score holds, would make now 5 losses on the season for the Bean Ballers, but 2 of those 5 have what you can be considered blowouts that the Bean Ballers never led, or I guess for this game they led 1-0 at the top of the first, but it seems like they're kind of riding the success and lows of Feliz, but got to have some other guys step up.
Yeah, now 3-0 the count to Ferreira. Davis deals, and that one's ball 4. A 4-pitch walk to start the 8th inning. And yeah, you mentioned it, Truman. Felice 0 for 2. He does have a pair of walks, but in his last 2 at-bats, a ground out to end the inning, and then a punch out, struck out swinging to end the 7th. It's just been missed opportunities and just quiet bats for Decatur tonight. Davis now deals lined foul off the bat of Carter Murphy, the third baseman.
Batting now, number 28, Carter Murphy.
Murphy 0 for 4 on the day with a strikeout back in the third inning. Looking to reach base for the first time tonight. The pitch downstairs, ball one. Count now 1-1 to Murphy.
Murphy's about the only guy who hasn't gotten a hit tonight. I mean, 0 for 4, but he's hit it hard 3 of the 4 times.
The 1-1 upstairs, ball 2. Felice thought about throwing down to first, but Ferreira trots back in time. Ferreira, the brother of Johan Ferreira, who's in the DH spot, hitting 7th tonight. Davis deals the 2-1 inside, ball 3. So 7 of the first 8 pitches miss the zone to start the 8th. Terre Haute still leads 7-2. The pitch lined sharply, caught by Kreider, but as he brings the glove in, the ball drops out. Umpires converge. We'll see whether they call that an out, and then on the transfer.
I think that's one where Kreider did not mean to drop that. I think that ball was hit so hard and he jumped in the air. So I think this should be what's considered I guess it's a 5-3 ground out with Ferreira moving up to second base.
And it looks like that is the call. So Ferreira does move up. That one was hit so sharply. Murphy thought he was just out and didn't end up running to first, so Kreider was able to lob it across the diamond to Jackson Miller for out number 1. So now 1 away, runner on second. That'll bring up Wally Diaz. Diaz takes strike 1 from Davis. He's 1 for 2 on the day, homered, his first homer of the year back in the 5th, also has drawn a pair of walks and scored another run as he fouls this one back. 0-2 the count to Diaz. So Darlin Ferreira on second. Wally Diaz at the plate, the 1-2. Fouls that one away.
Got to be careful with Diaz. I mean, he's already hit a homer tonight. Up 0-2. Caden Davis, I mean, I'd try to waste a couple pitches, but you cannot go over the plate. You're either working inside or working away.
Davis, the lefty, deals to the righty Diaz. Way outside, ball 1. And Diaz's trip around the base pass last inning was certainly far from ordinary. He walked and then drifted a little far away on a pop out to Carter Rich. Rich tried to throw him out at first to double him off. The throw got away as Diaz swings and misses. A catch made by Felice. So out number 2 as Diaz punches out for the first time tonight. He then advanced to second when the throw from Rich got away. Went to third off a sac fly and scored on an infield single.
It was a nice pitch from Caden Davis. I mean, outer part of the plate got Diaz to chase, and a nice job from O'Neal Felice to hang on to squeeze the second out, excuse me.
Breaking ball drops in there for a strike to the catcher, Ren Harper. Harper 2 for 4 with a pair of singles. Yet to score, however, today. The Rex have put together 11 hits as 7 runs, 11 hits, 2 errors reads the scorecard for Terre Haute. For Decatur, it's 2 runs, 5 hits, 2 errors as Harper fouls another one back. Now 0-2 the count. Davis checks back. Lefty on lefty matchup. Deals 0-2. Runner goes. Breaking ball upstairs. And the throw from Felice gets away. But Ferreira, sliding on his stomach, wasn't ready to get up and score. So He'll be staying at third for the time being. Now runner on third, 2 away, and 1-2 the count to Ren Harper.
Making now 7 stolen bases for the Rex tonight.
Base running has been an issue against the Bean Ballers as breaking ball misses upstairs. 2-2 now the count to Harper. That one fouled away. We'll do it again. And the point I made earlier is the defense itself on fielding has done well for Decatur today. It's just when the ball's in the field of play, sometimes the throws have been lackadaisical. They've gone away. They've allowed runners to move up multiple bases even. That has ultimately been Decatur's downfall today, trailing 7-2 as that one lined out into right field. Running over and making a running catch for out number 3 is the right fielder, Abernathy. So Terre Haute strands a runner at third. They don't score. Decatur down to its final 3 outs. We go to the 9th. Terre Haute leads 7-2. The righty Braylon Suriel on the mound for Terre Haute as we're set to start the top of the 9th. But before we do, as he warms up, we'll take you around the Prospect League on this Tuesday night. Burlington edges out Clinton at home, 8-7 in that one. The Danville Dans take down the Champion City Half-Track 6-2. Meanwhile, the visiting Lafayette Aviators stay undefeated at Kokomo, taking down the Creek Chubs, shutting them out 3-0 in that one. Bottom of the 6th down in Chillicothe, 7-1. The Paints lead the Johnstown Mill Rats in the bottom of the 6th. Also in the bottom of the 6th, the Normal Corn Belters all over the Quincy Doggy Paddlers, 9-2 at the Corn Crib. Meanwhile, all tied up at 3 between the Cape Catfish and Jackson Rockabillys, also bottom 6 in that one. Top 7, the Du Bois County Bombers up at the Alton River Dragons, 6-2. Springfield Lucky Horseshoes lead the Illinois Valley Pistol Shrimp in Illinois Valley in the bottom of the 5th, 8-5 in that one. A 4-0 O'Fallon Hoots lead down in Marion over the Thrillbillies in the top of the 5th. And then just underway, the Danville Dans and Champion City Half-Tracks. No score in that one, top 1. So Brandon Abernathy up to the plate. He'll be the first hitter to face Suriel, takes ball 1.
It's all about passing the torch. Find a way to get on, walk, hit by pitch, catcher's interference. It's just about getting guys on and getting people around.
Abernathy had an RBI single the other way his last time up, takes ball 2. He's 1 for 3 overall on the day with a ground out and a fly out in his other 2 at-bats. Quickly ahead 2-0 against Suriel. The pitch. cut on and missed. Fastball on the outside edge. 2-1 now the count to Abernathy.
Fourth appearance of the summer for Suriel. He pitched in that 16-11 win over the Chillicothe Paints on Sunday. Struck out 3 in 2 innings. Did give up a run, though. But he struck out multiple victims. Already 7 strikeouts through his first 3 2/3 innings.
Abernathy fouls one back into the screen. Count now 2-2 on the Bean Ballers right fielder. Suriel spent last season his senior year at Indiana State before graduating. And during that senior season, pitched 30 2/3 innings, had a 12.33 ERA. Plenty of life on his fastball. The 2-2 cut on and missed at a fastball. Down goes Abernathy. And down to their final 2 outs are the Bean Ballers.
For Suriel, he's another guy. Shocking 3rd year with the Terre Haute Rex. And he's had a sub-3 ERA in each of his first 2 summers. Pitched in 39 innings in 2024, 16 innings last summer, a 1.62 and a 2.81 ERA.
A native of Bonao, Dominican Republic. Now Grayson Robertson swings behind pitch 1. Robertson, frustrating day for him so far in the designated hitter's role. Popped out to foul play his first time up in the 2nd inning, and then a pair of GIDPs, double plays, on the day for him. 0 for 3 so far. Fouls the next pitch away. 0-2 now the count to Robertson. Robertson, he makes hard contact, but unfortunately there have been several times so far this season that the hard contact is just poorly placed and on the ground. As he swings behind this fastball, out number 3, quick 2 punch-outs for the Bean Ballers.
Blew the cheddar right by him. Suriel into the low 90s with that heater, and really some of the first heat that the Bean Ballers have seen tonight, just not able to catch up to it. Hasn't been their night. Seems like they're going to drop to 0-3 on the road, but hey, crazier things have happened.
So now down to their final out. Carter Rich is the last lifeline for the Bean Ballers. First one poured in there, a fastball for a strike. Rich 1 for 3 on the day, ground out a single back in the 5th, but stranded at 3rd in that one, and then struck out looking his last time up back in the 7th. The 0-1 from Suriel, swing and a miss. Strike 2. Again, plenty of life behind that fastball from Suriel. Down to their final strike. Suriel only pitches out of the stretch. Kick and deal. Fouled away. Rich stays alive. Crowd clapping in unison, expecting the 3rd Rex win of the season. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. The pitch to Rich. Check swing. He goes, says the first base umpire. Rich strikes out. And the Terre Haute Rex are winners tonight by a score of 7-2. The Bean Ballers just put 2 across and dropped their 3rd straight game. It was a frustrating one for the Bean Ballers tonight. Load the bases, nobody out back in the 1st, but only able to put 1 across and only able to put 1 more across the rest of the way. So again, the Terre Haute Rex take down the Bean Ballers 7-2 here in this one in Terre Haute, getting revenge for the Bean Ballers win last week. And the Bean Ballers go back home after this one. They face the Springfield Lucky Horseshoes tomorrow before a 4-game set, first 2 at home and then 2 on the road against the Du Bois County Bombers, but a frustrating loss in this one. So one final time, Truman Griessel, I've been Daniel Herzog. That'll do it for us here in Terre Haute on the official YouTube of the Decatur Bean Ballers.